Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the essential psychological habits that totally separate a wealthy trajectory from a poor one. When people talk about richness and poverty, they almost always assume it's just something you're born into. But the reality of modern wealth building, it's incredibly different. Let's just tackle a massive myth right out of the gate. Psychologists argue that the absolute most essential thing for becoming wealthy has nothing to do with your family tree. It's all about your internal mindset. It's how you think, not just the current balance in your bank account, that's actually dictating your future. To make these 15 core differences really actionable for you, we've clustered them into 6 key pillars. We'll be looking at the foundations of a rich mindset, mastering money, time, and vision, action, planning, and solutions, embracing growth and discomfort, people, positivity, and perspectives, and finally, training your mind for success. So let's jump right into pillar number 1, the foundations of a rich mindset. Well, the first big difference is a stark contrast in baseline focus. A rich mindset is constantly scanning the horizon for opportunities. They're willing to take calculated chances. Meanwhile, a poor mindset completely shies away, paralyzed by the fear of loss. If you're obsessing over the risks, you're only going to do things that guarantee a totally secure win, right? But a wealthy mind operates on the anticipation of what can be won. They literally see potential everywhere. And this focus on opportunity is deeply rooted in unshakable self-belief. When you rely on your own capacities rather than just waiting for passive luck, you naturally analyze your failures, you improve, and you inevitably grow. Think about it. If you believe your life is just entirely dictated by fate, the second you fail, you'll just shrug and say, "Guess it wasn't written in the stars for me," and give up. Believing in yourself forces you to take real responsibility. Moving right along, that brings us to pillar number 2, mastering money, time, and vision. Let's talk resources. Consumerism basically traps the poor mindset into buying things just to mask their insecurities. The rich mindset, though, they strategically save to invest and multiply their wealth. It's a huge difference. A poor mindset obsesses over how they look to everyone else, blowing their savings on flashy clothes just to appear wealthy. But the rich mindset knows the secret. It is absolutely not about looking rich. It's about actually being rich by putting your money to work. So, what is money to you? If you can rethink your definition and view money purely as a tool for leverage, you instantly break free from the exhausting cycle of just working to survive. A poor mindset looks at money as the end goal, right? You earn it just to pay the bills and barely survive the month. But a rich mindset trains the brain to see money as a mechanism. It's literally just a tool used to generate even more income. Now, you really need to audit your own habits on this next one. An affluent mind recognizes that a wasted second is lost forever, whereas a poor mind squanders fine without realizing just how short life really is. You are rarely, if ever, going to hear a truly successful person brag about blowing hours uselessly surfing the internet. They value time above literally everything else because it's the one single resource you can never, ever earn back. When we map this out over time, the true power of long-term thinking becomes super obvious. You've got to be willing to postpone immediate pleasures today if you want to secure massive, life-changing returns a decade from now. The poor mindset is basically addicted to immediate rewards, which honestly is directly tied to why they hate taking risks. Building true wealth requires the discipline to look 5 or even 10 years down the road. Which leads us perfectly into pillar number 3, action, planning, and solutions. A wealthy mind takes the leading role in their own life through meticulous planning and relentless action. They completely strip away the excuse-making and blame-shifting that totally paralyzes the poor mind. A poor mindset plays the passive recipient. They rely on hope, rely on chance, and then complain about being unlucky. It's the easy, risk-free way out. But a rich mindset, they take complete, proactive ownership of the whole shebang. Did you know that complaining literally disables your mental capacities? It's true. To get ahead, you absolutely must acknowledge a problem quickly, but then dedicate all your cognitive energy to finding the solution. When you just endlessly whine about how tough a problem is, you're engaging your brain in a totally fruitless task. Rich people intentionally train their minds to be solution-oriented. They look for the way out rather than just staring blankly at the brick wall in front of them. Okay, let's move on to pillar 4, embracing growth and discomfort. Let's really dive into this idea of lifelong learning. When someone like Bill Gates dropped out of college, it definitely didn't mean he just stopped learning. A rich mindset requires relentless, lifelong self-improvement just to stay ahead of the curve. A poor mindset kind of tends to think that once you get that formal degree, Bam, the learning is over. But if you want to remain wealthy, you simply cannot let yourself go. You have to constantly educate yourself and upgrade your skills. And because of that constant need to learn, if you're just clinging to the safety of your comfort zone and viewing any competition as a threat, you're actively missing out. You're missing the very friction required to build a magnificent life. People with a poor mindset stay right where it's safe for their ego. Rich people, on the flip side, actually relish healthy competition. They take challenges head-on and step right into discomfort, because they know that is the only place where you can truly push your personal boundaries. Moving right along to Pillar 5, people, positivity, and perspectives. When it comes to interacting with others, successful individuals are honestly just too busy self-improving to waste their time tearing anybody else down. The poor mindset tends to bitterly criticize others purely to mask their own faults and make themselves feel better. But a rich mindset, they purposefully surround themselves with greatness so they can admire, learn, and elevate themselves. When you surround yourself with people you genuinely admire, you create this incredible network of mutual growth. It completely bypasses the petty, favor-counting nature of a poor interpersonal mindset. A poor mindset looks for connections just to ask for transactional quid pro favors. But rich people form meaningful relationships based on genuine admiration and shared growth, rather than just seeking an immediate petty payoff. Ultimately, a negative attitude focuses entirely on what you lack. But true advancement? That comes from enthusiastically making the absolute best of what you have right now. Complaining that life is unfair just wastes your mental bandwidth. A rich mindset doesn't burn energy whining about the unfairness of the game. They just maintain a positive attitude and focus entirely on playing the best possible hand with the exact cards they're holding. And finally, we arrive at Pillar 6, training your mind for success. This is honestly the most empowering takeaway from this entire explainer. Your current psychological baseline is not permanent. You have the complete authority to practice, perfect, and train your brain into a wealthy mindset. Whether you recognize some of those poor mindset habits in yourself today doesn't even matter. What matters is recognizing that these are simply behavioral patterns. If you want wealth, you can actively rewire your brain to make it happen. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final vital question to chew on as you go about your day. Which side of these 15 differences are you choosing to live on? Are you focusing on risks, or are you hunting for opportunities? Are you complaining, or are you executing? Take a really hard look at your daily habits, challenge those comfort zones, and start building that rich mindset today.